So in order to drain the oil, we have to locate the sump, and on this particular car it is located behind this flap. So you undo the screw, the flap drops down, and there is our 17mm sump plug. Now some cars won't have this flap, so you will have to remove all of the under tray in order to drain the oil. And there is also another way of removing the oil. You don't have to lift the car and undo the sump plug. You can simply get a pump and pump all of the oil out from the dipstick tube if you have a dipstick. So there are two options. One, you can pump the oil out, and two, you can drain the oil out. We are doing this here. So crack the sump plug and remove it, and then let the oil drain into the appropriate sized container, as there is 7.5 litres of oil in this engine. It is a 3 litre 6-cylinder engine, so we need a bucket. So always use the appropriate sized container. After removing the sump plug, now allow the oil to drain. We still need to remove the fill cap. So now come to the top of the engine and remove the fill cap. And now we are going to let the oil drain from the engine fully. You can also remove the oil filter and let it drain, or let it drain and then come back and remove the oil filter. We are removing the oil filter now. I believe this is a 36mm socket for BMWs. But we're just cracking it off with an adjustable. We'll pull the filter out. Lift the oil filter and let it drain the last amount of oil, sometimes a little, sometimes a bit more. So just gently lift, check what's left to come out, and let it drain and remove it. It is probably better to put a tissue or a cloth or a rag underneath the filter, because it could be full of contaminants. These are the O-rings that come in the new filter, including a crush washer for the sump plug. In order to replace this O-ring, you first reach in and pull the tab, and then pull out the old O-ring. It's quite a large one here. Just pull it out. There we go. And then replace it with the new one. Just pop it in with the tab facing up or out of the bottom of the cap. Here's the tab. It needs to be facing outwards. Now, what O-rings and you have will depend on the make and model of the car. Must admit, I've not really seen this type before. Maybe it's just on BMWs. Now, I think all oil filters come with this sealing O-ring, so just simply slot a screwdriver in and pull it off. And when changing the O-rings or gaskets, you should always put a spot of oil on, either new or old oil. Put it on It stops it chafing and it'll help it seal better, stop it catching. Just push this part of the oil filter home, just a good hard sharp push to locate it. Two oil filters on the spiky ends of this filter housing. They should normally be replaced, but they're not in the kit for some strange reason. They are in most filters. This does not need pushing on too hard, but I attempted anyway. It's worth double checking to see if your filter locks in or connects into the filter in any special way before torquing it down. Start threading the oil filter cap by hand until you get a few turns like this, and then torque it down. They're generally tightened to around 25 to 30 Newton meters. So I'm just going to make it snug. As soon as it stops, I'm going to give it one more little tug, and that should be perfectly fine. Onto the first jug of oil now. I'm just going to pour this whole jug straight in, as we know we are going to need way more than just one jug. But always check your engine requirements for the amount of oil needed. Onto the second jug now. I'm going to pour this in and then stop when I have around 1.5 litres left in the jug. So I know there should be about a litre left to go. And that will put me around on the minimum mark, the bottom of the dipstick. However, if you're not too sure and you get a bit confused of how much oil you've put in, just pull the dipstick and check. Just wait a few minutes. Not sure what you can see, but we are right up around on the bottom of the dipstick here. So we should have about a litre and a half to go in. So we're going to put the car on the flat ground now. We're going to roll it off of the ramps, so then we have a nice flat level surface, so we get a better reading of the actual amount of oil we have in relation to the engine and dipstick. So we push the car down on the flat ground, we've let it sit a few moments. I've checked the dipstick, oil on the dipstick, and now I'm just going to slowly add oil. Keep checking the dipstick, checking the amount in the jug until we get to the full mark, or the correct amount. So we started with 8 litres, the engine takes about 7.5, and we have around a litre to 3/4 of a litre in the jug. So check the dipstick to see what it's saying, and yeah, it looks like we are almost up to the max mark on the dipstick. So I'll put a little more in until we get to the max mark. Most dipsticks will have a line, some will be nominated with a hole, and some will say max with a line underneath. Just check your dipstick. And that just about completes this oil change. We will have to let the car warm up to its full operating temperature, and then check the oil again after letting it sit for a few minutes. It may need topping up. Alright, so we've changed the oil. Alright, turn the car on.
hold till the triangle. And as soon as the triangle goes away, lift it up. Use that scroll here. We want oil, so there's the oil. Brakes, we can do those. Services. Right, so back to oil. Hold the BC button.
Once you see the signal move from the left side of the reset to the right side of the reset, you can then lift off the BC button and push it once more.
Then push it again. Just do it twice. It's now saying oil change in 17,000 miles. So push and hold here till the triangle goes away. Push the BC button. Well, you scroll through to which one you want. Then push and hold the BC button once, and then push it twice.
Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.